Greetings and welcome back to Pokemon Blue. It's whatever episode we're on, and we're just gonna continue our cycling road challenge of beating up an entire biker gang. The majority of them are on top of the hill. The rest of them are just kind of spread out. Oh yeah, we're on Thundercat's Reign of Boredom. I love the thing, but I'll never stop making fun of it for being one of the most boring Pokemon in the game. Looks cool as hell. Not sure where it rates in my top list of evolutions, because I like all of them. And Eevee itself is my favorite. That'd be something neat to do, just figure out what order I rate the evolutions in. Find out where I think these things are. Compared to each other, of course. I think I said this before, but when I say something's my favorite, like in my top 10 favorite Pokemon list, it would count it would have to count all the evolutions in the line as well. Otherwise, it'd be a bunch of evolutions. And Cubone and Marowak would have to be in two different places, and it'd just be a mess. So you have to count the whole line. Even though Eevee and its evolutions, you know, they're kind of different enough that you might be able to get away with it. Take that Thunderbolt. He's so good. Oh, I don't know what level that muck was. It might not be that impressive. Oh yeah, level 37 learning Tail Whip. Yeah, that's a worthwhile investment, especially on a Jolteon. You know, it lowers defense by one stage. I suppose it could combo well with all of his other moves, because Double Kick and Pin Missile usually come recommended, and those are physical, so it might help those moves out, but I don't see the point. You're better off with something else other than Tail Whip. If you're using either of those two moves, you're probably not in the greatest spot. Probably, not always. You know, sometimes you're in a great spot using them anyway because you don't have any other choice. It's just most of the time when I find myself using one of those two moves, I'm in a bad spot. And I didn't even mean to have Double Kick in this playthrough, but I'll end up with it accidentally. You'll see that come up. And Pin Missile's a really recommended move for Jolteon because it's a Bug-type move. It's one of the rare Bug-type moves in this game. So, you know, he's useful for that, I suppose, and granted it's using his low attack stat to use, but all the psychic types have really high special, so I don't know. And they have low defense unless they're, you know, Hypno. Hypno has decent defense, which is going to be an annoyance in this episode. You wait. But, so Jolteon's good against them pesky psychic types. He at least has Pin Missile, which is an option. I don't know. I haven't actually compared the damage of multiple Thunderbolts to multiple Alakazams versus multiple Pin Missiles to multiple Alakazams, and a move like Pin Missile is just a bug variant of Double Slap, which you've seen. You know, it hits 2 to 5 times for relatively weak damage. The idea being, if you get lucky, it'll deal a lot of damage because it hits 5 times. And as far as that goes, this game is actually rather lenient and doesn't really cheat too hard on that subject. you know, it seems like a legitimate 1 in 4 chance to get 2 hits, or 5 hits, or, you know, 3 or 4. I've never seen the move really screw you over one way and give you too much in the other. Meaning the move does hit an average of like 2.5 times, I think is the average. No, that'd be 3.5. The move hits 3.5 times on average. So you can expect 7 hits. I need to not math, I'm tired. And math is a weak spot of mine. I don't even know why I'm talking about it, to be honest. It's just I'm just killing time as I take on Cycling Road. There's not a whole lot to really talk about. And this is the only trainer in the game who has a legitimate point, because I came up and talked to him. You know, but if you get too close to him, in front of him, he'll move up to you and tell you to get lost. So if that happens, he doesn't have a point anymore. But this guy gets mad after you beat him, and I'm at least a little okay with it because I was the asshole who talked to him while beating up his entire gang. Yep, using a Thunderbolt for that little amount of hit points left. Well, it's because Blue Dragon has a lot of really good moves. So, either way, I was going to use a really good move. At this point, as you see, I'm just going into PowerPoint saving territory and spreading out the love amongst all the moves. Yes. But one day he will be a Dragonite, and it will all have paid off. His poor stats will be good. And believe it or not, he's nowhere near his final move pool. Like, all the moves on him right now are temporary. I had something else in mind, and, well, those of you who know what Dragonite can learn probably know what I'm doing with him. It's not a complicated thing. It's actually quite simple and common, I imagine. About as common as the set that I have him on him currently. You know, this is not a bad set to have on him. You know, Ice Beam and Thunderbolt are always a good combination because they do really decent damage. And, you can hit everything in the game with one of those two moves. You know, you cover all weaknesses and resistances with that. Not necessarily weaknesses, but you can avoid a lot of resistances with this move set. You know, Body Slam's just a good third move to have on everything in the game, frankly. If you don't have Body Slam on something, it probably can't learn it, or, you know, you just had something else in mind. But there are things that can't learn it, I'm sure. Well, Weepin' Bell couldn't. Now he's a Victory Bell, so... Now Weed is a Victory Bell, so he could learn Body Slam, and... You better believe that's a... major thing. Oh, I didn't actually know you could break on Cycling Hill until I read that sign, so... That's neat. That was just me testing it, because I read that sign and I was like, really? I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I didn't, you know, ever think to press a button while moving, you know. And as that sign earlier said, there are items scattered on Cycling Road. Not that I'm gonna bother searching for them. It's annoying enough as it is, contending with this road. You know, it's a complicated road because it's 3 roads down with 2 lakes in the middle. Which is just annoying. I suppose one good feature teaching Boner Strength has granted me is it's a decently powered move with 100 accuracy. So if there's something weak, that I know can't really stand up to it, it's at least there to take care of it. You know, and that's, at least in single player, that's not bad. If I was to say, take this team over to Pokemon Stadium, you know, strength would be a massive weakness on my part, whereas I could have anything else in that slot, like Body Slam, maybe. Or Fire Punch. You know, I had to get rid of Fire Punch for that. Or if I was playing, say, multiplayer, it'd be a weakness on my part. But of course, if I'm playing multiplayer in Pokemon Stadium, Marowak as a whole is a major weakness on my part. Because Stadium is not an easy game. Like, it's actually really hard. It's actually kind of fun. It's, as far as Generation 1 of Pokemon goes, Pokemon Stadium might be my favorite game from Generation 1. So long as you have the lock-on feature, so that you can use your Pokemon from your single-player games. Because if you're stuck using rentals, it's not actually a fun game at that point. It's only fun when you know, have control over what the Pokemon know and what their styles are, you know. And frankly, if you don't know what's good or what's bad in Generation 1 of Pokemon, just go ahead and take it through the harder levels of Pokemon Stadium. That'll teach you real quick what's useful and what's not useful. But Pokemon Stadium's pretty fun. Pokemon Stadium 2 was, you know, the sequel, but it's a little harder for differing reasons. But what am I need to talk about the game on screen. Enough with Pokemon Stadium. Critty's out. We can finally use the move Slash that we cheated to get. Nice. I will say it is a really powerful move. You know, I still don't think it's level 51 powerful, but it's still really good. It has a high critical hit chance. Critty has a high speed, so Critty's a high critical hit Pokemon. And Slash is normal, so it gets same type bonus to its damage. It's a really good move, but as we'll find out, it's not like the end-all be-all move. It's not the greatest move of all time, even on Critty. As it can't one-shot everything with it. Starting now. Yeah, see. It's still fairly reasonably balanced, in my opinion, which is why it's not, you know, level 51 good. But hey, you know, you've heard my justification. You've seen the evidence on screen. If you hate me for it, you still hate me for it. Nothing I can do about it. I don't care. Although with the way I'm talking about it, you might think I do. No, maybe that's just the sign to stop talking about it. Oh well, we're done with Cycling Road. Finally. Now we can actually progress with the game. Because we have one thing left to do down here in Fuchsia. I passed it up to take on the optional Cycling Road. Yep, we're taking on the gym in this episode as well. After I spent some time grinding, I wanted them to be a nice even 40. We were close enough, and I had some time to kill in real life. It's not really necessary to be at level 40 to take on this gym. I mean, it helps, but it's not necessary. In fact, this gym's really annoying. Its entire gimmick is, like, its leader is Koga. He's a ninja master. So he uses a bunch of tricks, and in this case what that means is status ailments, so he's a poison type user. However, his gym followers don't seem to understand the concept of theming the type while doing so, because they use a bunch of psychic stuff, and the few that use poison stuff also use ground type stuff. There's a lot of psychic types in this gym for some reason, even though, you know, there's a psychic type gym that they could have been in. But whatever. And the place is also surrounded by invisible walls. It's an invisible wall maze. You can see them if you look closely enough at the screen. It was easier on the Game Boy screen. When they added color, it became harder to see the walls. But you'll see them because there's a few dotted lines in the pixels. You know, the floor sprites. And the maze isn't really all that hard. It's easy to memorize. I've had it memorized for years, so I get right through this place. You know, taking on all the trainers as I go. And Hypno is going to prove to be the bane of my existence. Because they've got really good defense. And are a psychic type. So they have really good special. On top of being a psychic type, the most broken type in Gen 1, for a lack of good options to counter it with. You know, this is what a fair fight looks like, though, I suppose. Level 38 versus my level 40. We kicked each other's asses pretty good there, I'd say. You know, and this gym's actually going to really frustrate me. Now, I didn't talk about it at the time because I wasn't paying attention, so I missed it, but I used an item earlier to my very shame. And I'll use an item in this gym later, too, during battle. Except you'll understand why when you see the fight. I was maybe a little frustrated. And it starts around this guy right here, I think. His Drowsy's pretty weak. I guess I'll Mega Punch it. He poisoned me, whatever. And thus it's gonna start. I have terrible hit rolls in this gym. Be warned. It gets a little frustrating, actually. Here I'm contemplating how to deal with this Drowsy, because I'm tired of seeing Drowsy and Hypno at this point. They're a lot better than I give them credit for, because they're the common psychic type. Like, if you want to use psychics, but you don't want to use something rare or hard to get, you'll be using a Drowsy and a Hypno. And that would seem to make them bad, except that they're actually not bad at all, because they have decent defense. You know, they're the only psychic types in the game that can really take a hit. Well, I suppose there's also Slowbro and Executor. They can take hits as well. So I'm wrong on that. They are, in fact, the only single-typed psychic type that can take a hit. A physical hit. And I keep missing. And it gets frustrating. You know, and they have me poisoned, so every miss is all the more noticeable. And these damn Drowsies, they keep taking my surfs. You know, and this is after I grinded to level 40. But again, you don't need to be level 40 to take on this gym. It's not hard to take on the gym leader himself. I have Marowak, in fact. That should be all I need to do it. You know, ground is good against poison. I think that might be the only thing in my party that's good against poison. Which is unusual, because poison isn't a really great type. Although that's because it... You know, a lot of things resist it, or... It doesn't have a whole lot of moves, and... You know, stuff like that. It's not... I don't think its weakness is on the case of poison. I don't know. I don't remember offhand what all is good against poison. I know there's ground and psychic. Okay. Boomerang ought to shut you up. Okay. Boomerang ought to shut you up. Oh, great. I'm poisoned. Thank you. It has 90% accuracy. Why? Why? It's slightly less than 90 because of the 1 in 256 thing, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Forgive me for healing his poison that he only got because he missed so many times. Well, you know, he got it after he missed once, but at this point I'm frustrated because Blastoise missed a couple times, he's missed a couple times. And I'm getting sick and tired of this missing! Ugh, my boner has performance anxiety and it's embarrassing me. Man. Oh well. And the double edge didn't exactly do enough to really warrant. Just one more hit. You know, it has decent accuracy. Now he's paralyzed because he missed. This is when I bench him for the rest of the gym, because I'm not healing him anymore. And that's how you waste 8 Boomerangs on 3 Pokemon, 2 of which are poison type. Ah, well. It'll be okay. What are the odds he'll do it against Koga, right? I don't know, I was pretty nervous at this point about that, because my only real plan for taking on Koga was just powering through him with Boner. I'm sure, you know, all my dudes are level 40, I'm sure I could take him on with literally anything else in my team. Cough, cough, Jolteon, cough, cough. In fact, Weed here wouldn't be bad either. He resists poison type moves. He can't be poisoned by toxic. And he's really, really good because he's got a really decent attack and Hyper Beam and Body Slam. Oh, Weed. I remember when you were a boring little Weepin' Bell using Wrap on anything you couldn't Vine Whip. And look at you now, you've come so far. Critty's still my favorite, though. No, your invisible walls don't have me frustrated. The RNG has me frustrated. Let's get this right here. Oh, and these are tamers. I haven't brought this up yet, but tamers and, you know, Rocket Grunts back in the times we fought them, and there's a couple other trainers too in this game that use whips because Generation 1 is hardcore like that. You know, if these people's Pokemon miss, they get the lash. You know, Boner, if I'd have traded you into one of them and you'd have disobeyed them for not having the right badge, you'd have gotten the lash. You know, maybe I should have learned something from these guys. But no. I don't whip my Pokemon. They're my friends because the story demands it. You know, because Pokemon's always about being friends with your pets or whatever. Alright, there he is. But you know I'm not going to just take him on without getting all healed up. That'd be insane. I've got a dude who's paralyzed and 3 dudes who are all the way down. I think it was 3. It might have only been 2. And here he is, Ninja Master Koga. I know he's not a ninja because he's not dressed like a farmer doing normal work. You know, he's actually fairly obvious. He's more of a martial artist, except he doesn't use fighting types. He uses poison and sleep techniques, because, you know, he's that kind of ninja. He's a cool dude. We're to believe he's the most experienced gym leader in the game, even though he's not the strongest, because he'll be upgraded to Elite 4 within the next couple of years, canonically. And so far, Boner's off to a good start. Overcoming his performance anxiety. My Boner wants to learn Thrash. I don't need it. It's good enough as is. Doesn't need to thrash about. Alright, Muck. Eat bone! Yeah, this is all my strategy is for taking on Koga. I was a little worried it wasn't going to go off the hook because I figured he was going to miss a bunch more times. I guess he got over that. Found some way to overcome it. Koga at this point, you know, at this point, this theming the type is really becoming absurd. Because, you know, we've seen all the things in this gym so many other times before, and the fact that he has one weakness just it's the later gyms are just so much easier than the earlier gyms because of it. You know, he tried to take me out without that explosion, but I mean, you weren't gonna kill a level 42 or 41 Marowak with one explosion that isn't the same type, you know. But I guess he had no other choice. It wasn't like he was winning anyway. But now we can use Surf out of battle, which is always good. We have Toxic. A good multiplayer move. You know, a good move for Pokemon Stadium as well. Not so great in single player, you know, console mainline game. Or handheld, not console. I'm sorry. It poisons the opponent with the second type of poison in the game, where the damage from the poison doubles each time it takes the poison damage, so, you know, it gets really, really powerful over time. But that's the end of the video, so, I might discuss Toxic more later. Have a good day. Bye.